Okay, let me quickly check. Okay, I don't know whether the audio quality is good enough. Property. I'm using my MacBook's microphone. Which one is good? I was like using my phone's microphone, I'm not using my Mac's microphone. Can I just move everything down a notch? And let me quickly test things, right? Let me quickly test things. So what I'm going to do is to just to quickly check whether I'm live yet. Let me see. Okay. Okay, maybe I'm already live. Maybe. Okay, let me quickly test the sound because I don't want, the folks not to be able to hear me. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, maybe I'm already live. Maybe. I don't want, the folks not to be able to hear. Alright, it seems I'm live. That's good. And I believe, sorry about that. I believe I need still got like one more thing to do, is to go to, I believe it was like previously I got some test that so I can let's do this. I think it's in the okay, let me quickly get it here. No. I think it's the detail or something. Update. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is to go to the chat section. Okay, so yeah, hopefully that will do the trick. And yeah, so hopefully that's enough. Okay, and where were we? I think I can go to my channel that's doing the stream. Go here. Let's see. I just get to the detail section and live detail. Okay. Just to get it here, I'll quickly save it. Yeah, that's good. I think everything is fine here. Alright, so yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome. This is like Learn Japanese with me, Repap. Okay, and yeah, welcome everyone. And so okay, I just gently fold it to make a ad hoc thingy, and yeah, let's do that. Let's just place it here. Hopefully that will do the trick. And I think I got this like a wrong pen. Let me try some better because I think the one not here. And maybe this one. No guarantee it will work. yeah. So today will be a special day because I want to do a little bit stream, and yeah, as you may already guess, it's a kind of like a pen and paper Japanese. So yeah, as the name suggests, pen and paper. So let's see whether this is good. Pen. Okay, this is Ripa. Ripa. Alright, so yeah. So basically I'm going to write things, majorly write and explain and drawing things. Hopefully this will yeah, help you folks learn a little bit about Japanese. Alright. So you guys can join the chat. Let me just get the chat information here. I think I can use the embedded chat information by using a embedded link. Okay, and so since it's the like a multi-platform streaming, so I know maybe some of you folks won't be able to see because it's in Twitter or X nowadays. Okay, so basically you can go to YouTube or Twitch, right? And there's a called Learn Japanese with Lipa, and you can okay, can I add more platform? Let me quickly see. I got like a tons of platform going on here. Alright, so yeah, right now let me see. Okay, I don't know why the like TikTok. I think TikTok does not allow me to go streaming unless I'm using the like a platform. I don't know why. It's just some weird rules. And I think there's like a okay, maybe their API is not. Yeah, maybe there's some bug. Doesn't really matter. 4 or 5 active, get more. Okay, so alright, doesn't really matter. Right, so yeah, let's get started. Embedded the stream to your website. Yeah, not stream to my website. Chat, embed chat, and embed a link. I can just go there, get my studio. I think it's like a customized dock. I think customized browser dock chat. I can get a URL here, and hopefully can get. Right, that's weird. That's weird. It's not working. It's not working somehow. Okay, yeah, it's working. It's working. This is sort of pop up a chat somehow. I just apply this. Oh yeah, it's there. It's there. Right, so I can safely close the website. Right. Maybe just to close the Chrome altogether. Just to make everything a little bit faster. Alright. So yeah, everything seems good. Where's my chat? I think when I close it, accidentally closed. It's so frustrating. Let's do that again. This dock, we got some like a customer browser dock. If I apply, right, you should be able to see it. But why I'm not seeing it? It's just so frustrating. Yeah. Let me see. Sorry, folks. I'm even new here. I'm like adjusting all these settings. If I change the doc name, will pop up. Yeah, alright there. Sorry. So yeah, hopefully everything is fine. Let me quickly test the message to see whether the message is working. So if I type hi, will it pop up? So yeah, I can see the hi. By the way, Laura Dishwald is on my another channel. Yeah, I got tons of things going on. Oh my gosh. So all right, let's continue. Today we're going to learn about the restaurants. Okay, so restaurant is like in Japanese, it's a katakana. That means that you can use katakana to represent it for imported words. Okay, so restaurant, le, su, to, la, restaurant. Okay, so for the restaurant, it's pretty easy. You go to restaurant, you order foods, and then just wait for the food to come to your table. Okay, but here's the thing. When you go to the restaurant and order for food, well, you have to counting how many of the food that you ordered. So we're going to learn a little bit about the counting. So as I said, Japanese number is really hard. Okay, so even though you count the same thing, count the same number, but not the same thing, that counting is different. So for example, we previously I give you folks a really thorough session of Nedang, right, about Japanese money, and we count from 1 all the way to like a billions. Okay, but if it's in the context of the restaurant, it's a little bit different. Okay, because you're going to count like this. So for example, I'll give you the gesture of doing that. Okay, so while we counting small items, okay, we use nani nani tsu. So basically, this is just a very small things. Okay, and for eating, when you order, the eating is kind of considered very small things, right? Like Japanese food is really small. So when you eat and you order things, you just say nani nani tsu, right? So basically counting small item, right? So let's start counting this tsu. So let's counting from 1, right? What about this? Let me just give it down here. Small things. So for example, if you want to count from here, what about this? Right? This is like a 1 and 2. That's starting from 1. So there's one tiny little bit of thing. And 1 is called hito. So basically it's called hitotsu. Hitotsu. Just 1, right? Hitotsu. And then you change that to 2, and then 2. That means 2, right? I know that in Western culture it's more easy for folks to count this way: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but in Asia culture, especially like Japanese, Chinese, they count like this, right? 1 and 2, right? So it really. It's a cultural thing, and it's a personal choice. Some people prefer to do that. It doesn't really matter, okay? But you need to know this also is 2. This is also 2, okay? But in some culture, this may be 8, okay? So you have to make sure, right? Is it 2, right? You need to make sure. And if you know Japanese, you can sort of make sure by saying, well, is it like a futatsu, right? It's like a 2. So it's like a fu, ta, futatsu, okay? So you may think this is a little bit weird. So for this 1 kanji, you got a 2 hiragana, okay? Yeah, 1 kanji can have 1 hiragana, 2 hiragana, 3 hiragana, 4 hiragana, 5 hiragana. You can get all the hiragana you want. And sometimes you may, if you watch tons of read tons of manga like me, you can see that a lot of the mangaka, they design some specific waza, they design specific skill, and they will use some, even like really weird symbol, right? So for example, I use this symbol, and you know what? I can even add hiragana to it, right? Or katakana above it. So basically, that is indication of how you're going to read it. Okay, so for example, it's like a Bleach is a very famous Japanese manga. It's like a bankai, right? Something like that. So basically, it's like you draw a symbol and then you draw a bang, just how to read it, give you a certain hint. So you know what? 一つ、二つ. Okay, and let's quickly go all the way to 5, and then let's rest a little bit and then continue. 一つ、二つ. Okay, remember all this. You need to actually read this. So what about 3? So 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, and 3. Okay, or 3. Okay, or 3. Okay, I think this is more Japanese way. 3. Okay, or 1, 2, 3. Okay, or 1, 2, 3. I think. Oh my gosh, what I'm doing. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe this also. As long as 3 fingers, but in order to make sure, you're gonna say 3 and then 2, right? This is like a mi, and then this 2 indicate that you stop a little bit there. 3つ, okay? 3つ, 3つ. So basically, it's like mi and then stop, then 2. Mi stop 2, 3つ. Okay? 3, 3つ. And these 3 have a pronunciation of mi, and then stop a little bit. It's as if it's like mi and stop become the 3. Okay? By the way, this stop is very, very important. This is kind of like a Japanese, like a rhythm. Okay? 3つ. Okay, what about this? Okay? This is like 4, okay? But if you read this as 4zi, that's kind of weird. So that's the weird things about Japanese. If you're reading this seems a little bit weird, you must change a little bit about the pronunciation. So for example, this should be 4, but you stop a little bit. And then つ. So it's like 4つ, not 4つ, but 4つ. So 4 and then stop and then つ. Okay, as if this pronounced 4 and stop. So I know you may tend to read this as a single out, but when you do that, it's a kind of you going down and then you 字. That's kind of a weird. So you kind of if you speak a certain language, that language does not add up, that does not go smoothly. So instead of do that, do this. So 4つ, 3つ, 4つ. So you got to sort of pronounce the stopping part. Okay? So all the way to 4つ, right? 一つ, 二つ. Remember a little bit stop. 三つ. And then 四つ. And then all the way to 5. Okay? I know this may be a little bit hard to remember how to write this, but just to think about this, okay? Okay? Just think about this. Kind of similar, huh? You show this palm, kind of similar. Okay? Kind of similar. And then this is everything. Okay? You think of everything. Everything. Okay? And then this is 一つつ, 一つつ. Okay? So basically this is called 一つ. Okay? 一つつ. So I know it's a little bit hard, but that's just some special counting mechanism. Okay? 一つつ. So let's do that again. Right. So 一つ、二つ、三つ、四つ、五つ. Okay? And remember, this pronunciation is a little bit interesting because it got like a two tsu together. So tsu together. So instead of become itzu, you actually pronounce it. But that involves a scenario of two tsu together. Okay? And we sort of try to make it a little bit like fuzzy sounds. So not just the 一字字, but 一字字. So it's like a little bit. You try to make it a little bit fuzzy because it's sort of connected. Okay, and this happens a lot in spoken Japanese. So if you like it, got like a lot of things connected, even though that thing got like no dotted on it, you try to make it a little bit fuzzy sounds. Okay, so basically it's like a car, right? You try to make it sound like a gar, right? So basically car sounds a little bit like this, okay? But not all the way like this, okay? So that's sort of like nuance, right? And yeah, so that's the 1, 2, 5. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Let me quickly check the sound because I'm like still wondering whether I'm doing this correctly. Okay, so sorry about that. Let me quickly check. I think I stored it somewhere here. Okay. Where is it? Yeah, here. Let me quickly check. Your and stop. So I know you made 一字, okay? And remember, this pronunciation is a little bit interesting. Yeah, I think the sound is pretty good, which is good. All right. So that's the 1 all the way to 5. 一つ、二つ、三つ、四つ、五つ. Okay? And here comes to why I separate this. Okay? Just to think about this. This is like we got like 5 fingers. That's the reason to separate this. Okay? And so yeah, that's the reason why I separate this. And let me quickly check, alright? Let me quickly check it out. Okay. I got some DM. Right, so Okay, there's a website called the Youglish website. And ironically, we're going to use that for Japanese, so they can give us a lot of like native pronunciation, and they got like tons of material for you to practice from. So I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think then you can quickly check, and I'm trying to get some of the example for you folks. Okay, doesn't really matter. Let's go back. Okay, do you know the reason why I stop at the 5? Because that's just like, this is the thing that it can be done by like using one hand, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? One hand. So after that, that should be like all the way to 10. So 5, 5, 10. We can use like 2 hands, but that's not normally how it's done in real like life scenario. We don't use like 2 hands to express numbers, but rather we just say it. Okay, so I would just save the burden of like memorizing this, right? Because it's just some repetition. It's not repetition, but rather just using the finger counts. Okay, so yeah, let's continue. So for example, this mu zi. Okay, so it's a mu and a stop. Mu zi. So it's like if you look at that, it's kind of like a 6. Okay, these two kind of like similar, right? So mu zi, I think it's easy to understand by looking at the shape. Okay, it's kind of like this. So the pronunciation is ironically just a mu, okay, and a stop. Mu zi. Okay, and then what about this? Nana, right? Nanatsu. Okay, 6つ nanatsu. And then this, I think nana, and then this like 8つ is kind of a loved number. Okay, you can see a lot of works that use this number like nana, and this is like ya stop つ 8つ. Okay, and then comes to all the way to 9. Okay, 9 is called no. Oh my gosh. 字. Okay, and then all the way to 10. 10 is a lot, so we normally don't add 字, we just say と. Okay, と. As simple as that. All right. So yeah, that's basically how to count the small items all the way from 1 to 10. Okay. So right, 一つ、二つ、三つ、stop 四つ、五つ、五つ, but normally it's like 五つ is add a little bit fuzziness to it. And then 六つ stop, 七つ、八つ、九つ, and then と no つ at all. Okay, so that's all the way from 1 to 10. And yeah. Yeah, I think that's all about the counting. And let's continue to learn a little bit about some of the words. Okay? So Right, since we already at the restaurant, right? Restaurant. We're at a restaurant. We know about how to order like small, how to count the small things. Okay, if you order like more than 10, that's a lot. Come on, you need to lose some weight. Okay, so after that, let's also learn a little bit about the things that you're going to eat in the restaurant. So the first thing, of course, is the N5 words called niku. Okay, this is the thing that I love to eat most. I think this is one of a lot of people's favorite. It's called niku. Okay, niku. 肉ですね。動物、動物の体の筋肉の部分ですね。Basically, so for example, if there's like a chicken, okay, that's a typical 動物。動物の体の筋肉、筋肉、筋肉。So basically, it's like just the veins, the all the connecting issues as well as the meat parts of the animal. 筋肉、筋肉部分。部分。筋肉. So this is like a more like okay, how to say this in English? So if you just purely look at this 筋肉, it's more like you know, when you try to add muscle, right? You try to go train. You're actually training this 筋肉. Okay, and especially in the like science part of the body, right? So you want to train your body. That's muscle. That's 筋肉 that you're trying to train. And yeah, so basically it's like this chicken, and what can be eaten part is like a 筋肉, was already like inside. That's like the internal organ, and was about the fatty issue, right? The fatty issue is what we call that 脂肪. 脂肪. If you look at that, this is like really fat. We got like a lot of moon here. Okay, we got a moon, we got a moon. So 脂肪 is like the fatty issue. And when we talk about niku, we're talking about meat, talk about like a really lean muscle meat. Okay, so it's like a 筋肉部分. And the fatty issue, we call that 脂肪, which is like the fatty. You know, if it's like a duckling, it's pretty fat, right? You got some like a fat issue on the tail, something like that. That's a 脂肪. Okay, and we train our body. We try to like make the 脂肪like the rate of 脂肪 going down, and we want to get this 筋肉, the meaty part of our body, going up. Okay, so 肉 really like fundamental, but also very, very interesting word. Right. So if we're talking about niku, that's basically is the thing that we can eat. 食べられる部分. That means that we can eat, okay? So 食べられる, okay? So 食べられる食べられるの部分は like parts, okay? 食べる change that to 食べられる. That means you can be eat. Can be eat. 部分 is like a part. So when we're talking about 肉 it's like you know 動物の体の、筋肉の部分食べられるの部分 this part can be eat. Okay? And of course 脂肪 we can also eat it, but that's not too healthy, isn't it? Right? And the red meat is also not too healthy. So yeah, so basically you can't eat a lot. Okay? And so when we talk about niku, we can add something before and then become like a different kind of niku. Okay? So for example, like this. Look at that. This is a pretty similar like this, right? So like okay, I'm drawing something like this. Okay. Okay, so it's like it's not like a cow, but rather it's more like a ox. Okay, so that's called ushi. Okay, it's like ushi, right? And if you are talking about the meats on this ushi, that's called this ushi, but we add niku behind it. Okay, but ironically we are not going to do that. We're not going to say ushi niku, but rather we can say gyu niku. So you're going to read it this way, gyu niku. Okay? So, yeah, gyu niku, that's the ushi no niku. Okay? That's the beat for you. That's the beat for you. Okay? And what about okay? What about this? What about I get rid of this? I make like this. Some piggy here. So basically this is called buta. Okay, buta, pig, right? Buta. And in order to say this buta's meat, you can just add this buta. Okay, you add it here. Sorry, this is like a wrong writing. Sorry. And then this is like go here and go up a little bit. Okay, do separate this a little bit. This is wrong writing. Sorry about that. Go up a little bit. Okay, and then you add your niku here. That will get you ironically buta, and then you're not going to change this, not like a gyu niku. That's the hard part about Japanese. You have to So that's why I suggest you just treat this as a like a no rule at all. You have to remember everything. Okay, you treat everything as a single part, fixed expression. Okay, 豚、肉. Okay, 豚肉. 豚肉 is a typical pork for you. Okay, 豚肉. So remember how to write this. Is this separated parts? Okay. 豚肉. Right. So that's two of the major niku here, and yeah, that's two things. What about this? Right? I love this. And let's talk about one of my favorites. It's the chicken, right? Chicken, and chicken, we call that chicken. If you think about chicken, that's more about the tori. Okay, so we go something like this. It's a little bit hard, so I'm going to make it relatively big. So like this is like the chicken's head, and then I'm going to do something like this. Okay, and here comes to interesting parts, because that's like the bird, like a tori, but it's a more shrinked version of tori. So it basically is something like this. So go here, okay, and then we can go here, right, and can go here. Of course, you can do this first, and then go all the way down here, and then dot 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 dot, 4 dots. Okay, so the right side is already a tori. Okay, you can even go this and go this one way down. This already called tori. This is more about the bird. This, we talk about this, it's more about the chicken. Okay, so it's like the bird that's sort of a walk. If you look at here, it's kind of like a bird that's, birds this part, and then it's like a walking bird. So it's like a chicken. Okay, and this is more like a flying bird. So basically this represents that this is a bird, right, and it's like a walking bird. So it's more about the chicken. Okay, so for this, if I add niku to it, still this also called tori niku. Okay, that's a typical chicken for you. Tori niku. Okay, and tori niku. We like, for example, like 定食とか、鶏肉多いですね。So basically, it's like you go through a 定食, right? You got like some like this here, this like this box here, this here. I got some like, okay, or you got like a chicken meat here. So yeah, during all this like a whole set, this is like one of the most niku that you're going to get. So tori niku basically it's like a tori no kinniku, tori niku. All right, so yeah, let me rest a little bit. Right, let's continue. Right, so you must wondering what's the difference between these two, right? Let's dive a little bit deeper, because if you look at this, okay, even though it's called Toriniku, right? Toriniku. If you look at this specifically, okay, they got a different pronunciation. So that's the like confusing parts. Okay, so if you look at this called niwatori. Okay, niwatori. But if you look at this, you combine that with niku, it becomes toriniku. But if you look at this specifically, you call niwatori. And if you think about this, niwa is actually another word. Niwa. Niwa ni iru tori desu ne. Niwa ni iru tori. So basically, you know, is some of the garden, right? 例えばね、家ですね。This is your house, right? Let me just give you a typical house. Okay, so this is your house, right? So house called 家. 家. This is your house, right? This is your house's garden, right? For example, there's some pond of water, some trees, even, I don't know, a bridge. A bridge. Okay? And then inside of this house garden, that's niwa, right? Niwa. That 家の庭。家の庭で、話して、まあ、帰っていた鳥ですね。鳥。例えばね、鳥。家、庭、鳥。So basically, this is called niwatori. Okay? So instead of just, the normal tori, that's just a flying, the flying in the sky, right? This is a specific tori that's inside of your niwa. Okay? Niwa. So that's become niwatori. Become the chicken, right? And then you eat it, that's toriniku. Okay, toriniku. So even though this is called niwatori, here we sort of omit the niwa, become tori, and write this way, toriniku. But this is like the general terms for all these like inclusion, zenbu no tori, right? All these birds will include that's tori. Okay, but this is specifically a niwa no naka no tori. It's like chicken. We eat meat. We call that toriniku. Okay. If you look at this, it can't get a K. You can read a K, but most of the time just toriniku. Okay. And so that's the weird part about this. And I think this will clarify things. Okay, so let's continue. Hopefully I got that audio down. Right, this is your house, just a flying body. Okay, But this is specifically, yeah, I think I got that correct. That's good. Alright, so yeah, I love to talk about food. What about this? You know, Japan is an island, right? And since the island is near ocean, right? There's tons of fish. Okay, so you know what? Let's talk about fish. If you look at that, the fish is something like this, right? Oh, something like this. Ooh. Okay, and then if you look at that, fish actually looks fairly similar. Okay, that's the Japanese fish for you. Okay, we call that sa ka na sakana. Sakana. Okay, pretty like a fish. It's like a tail of the fish, the head of the fish, the body of the fish. Sakana. Sakana. Sometimes we read this as the onyomi. By the way, I want to explain this. This sakana, we call that sakana. We call that kunyomi. Okay, kunyomi. Kun. Yo. Mi. Kunyomi. Okay. This mi. Let me just get it down. Kunyomi. Okay, but if you look at this, it's like kunyomi. That's correct, but I don't want to confuse you. Okay, so kunyomi. Kunyomi is like the original Japanese version. Okay, but there also a onyomi. Okay, onyomi. Onyomi. Okay, so basically it's like the Chinese imported words pronunciation, and then you use this Chinese character, you change that into Japanese character, Japanese kanji, and then using the traditional Japanese pronunciation. So it's like kunyomi, so shite onyomi. This I'll move it down, so you don't need to worry about this. Okay, so kunyomi, onyomi. Onyomi no 場合は it's not sakana, but rather it's called gyo. Kyo and then gyo. Gyo. I believe already I started a new project called Gyofukuki. So basically it's like a traditional Japanese literature is also about this fish, sakana, gyofukuki. So it's like a fairy tale. Really, really interesting. Okay, so yeah, this is just a fish, right? Sakana. If you talk about that as a like specific dish, it's more about the sakana. Okay, so for example, you say this sakana, とても安い, right? 安い. Okay, so basically this is 安い. That means that, you know, this price range pretty low, right? This is like 安い. This is like 高い, right? 安い. Okay, 安いです. そして if we cut the fish, right? If we cut this fish, to make a fish is like a, you know, really big. This is just like totally very big range. Okay, if we cut this fish into small slice of meat, then we call that sashimi. Okay, so sashimi. Okay, Sashimi. Sashimi is like kind of a dishes that you can get when you cut fish and you eat it raw. Okay, so it's called sashimi. And you must have eat sashimi at some point in your life if you did not eat it. You definitely got to eat it. So basically, it's that. For example, is it like a fish, right? Is that like a fish here? And you you eat raw, but you need to cut it. You need to process it. Okay. So basically, if you want to not eat raw, there's a fire, right? You're going to fire it up, right? You're going to make it not raw. So basically, you're going to fire is heat, right? Fire, right? Going on fire. So if you use heat, okay, that's not sashimi. Okay, sashimi do not use fire to process it. So basically, heatを使いません。火を使いません。火を使いません。That's 使いません. That means you're not using, right? Heat is like a fire. So basically, you don't use the fire, okay? And then that becomes sashimi. So basically, it's like a raw, okay? And if you look at the sashimi, it actually makes sense because it's composed of this. 刺す. So basically, it's like a knife, yeah? You cut this going down, so that's 刺す, right? 刺す. And you're using knife. Knife is like 包丁. Okay, 包丁. Okay, so 包丁. 包丁 is like a knife, right? You using knife, 包丁を入れる. そして、you basically you cut like 入れる is like you cut it inside. If you just got this inside, there's like a hole. You cut it inside. That's called 入れる, right? 入れる. You get it inside, right? 入れる. And then you get inside and you're starting cutting it, right? So if you like cutting this like a line, cutting it up and then cutting, and then become like a two-part, okay? We call that 切る. Okay? 切る. 入れる, そして切る. Okay? That's the typical 刺す, right? 包丁を入れ包丁を入れて入れる刺すというのは入れるの意味ですね。刺す is more about like get inside, but 切る is like right, so like to cut it into different parts. So if you look at this 刺身 right, so 身 sashimi, okay? Sashimi. So basically, this is like using knife to cut it, right? To kiru, to cut it into half. And then mi is like the body, right? And if you look at mi, it's actually kind of like karada, right? And so basically, mi means we just talked about that niku. Okay, that means cutting niku, and mi most of the time refer to sakana no niku. Okay, we talk about sakana, right? Sakana とか動物とかの肉ですね。We talk about sakana, so I'm just writing sakana there. So sashimi means that you're using the 包丁, using the knife to cut it inside, right? And cut it and cut the fish meat. Okay, so that's sashimi for you. All right, yeah, I got something going on here. Let me check the email. Right, so yeah, I got some other things to working on. So sorry about that. I received an email. I got something to working on. So yeah, it's been great fun streaming. You know, if you still here, the best way to support me is to subscribe and give it a thumb up, and you know, yeah, just you know, subscribe so you won't lose me next time. So yeah, thanks for the support. Bye. This is